We'll do it live.
What are your names? Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Pink.
Why am I Mr. Pink?
Who cares what your name is?
Yeah, that's easy for you to say. You're Mr. White. You have a cool-sounding name.
Let's go to work.
Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling that something ain't right.
What happens if the manager won't give you the diamonds?
Cut off one of his fingers. The little one.
I'm so scared in case I fall off the chair. And I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs.
If they hadn't done what I told them not to do, they'd still be alive.
It's so hard to keep the smile from my face. I'm all over the place.
You're acting like a first-year fucking thief. I'm acting like a professional.
And you flip me off a moment, slap you on my back and say,
Choice he's been doing 10 years. Taking out some stupid motherfucker. Ain't no choice at all. Bam! Bam! Bam, 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 bam.
you're under arrest, sugar.
Harvey Keitel, Michael Madsen, Chris Penn, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Tierney, and Tim Roth. They're the Reservoir Dogs.
Hey, Joe, want me to shoot this guy?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Cinematic Lounge. Hello, Maria.
Hello.
Now, we were supposed to do, you spun last week, you spun Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we had some, well, you had some issues with that. Mm-hmm. So we decided to revamp, and we went with, as you know in the trailer, we went with Reservoir Dogs, 1992's Reservoir Dogs, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
Which is violent, bloody, but didn't have the issues that Chinatown did for you.
Right.
Right. So let's talk about the drink that you have brought. Looks pretty straight.
So, yeah, it's actually, so it's just whiskey, because they drink a ton of whiskey there. And it's just in a brandy glass as opposed to a whiskey glass.
A brandy glass.
Yeah,
That's, that's how you fancied it up. I don't think those guys would be drinking out of a brandy glass.
No, but I
why don't you just throw it to the camera?
There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. So, yeah, 1992's Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
Which was about a jewelry heist gone wrong, and someone in the crew, they suspect, is working for the police. So that's the premise of the film.
Right.
And you had never seen it when it came out.
No.
I saw it when it came out, the day it came out in 1992 in Shirlington, Virginia. And I think there were 3 of us in the theater. I went, I think, in the middle of the afternoon. And, you know, I'd been hearing the hype about Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
This movie in particular. Everybody was focusing on the violence.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off pretty quickly with especially the blood in the car with the white seats.
You know, he likes that, doesn't he? Because the Pulp Fiction had that shooting in a car, too.
Well, Marvin. No, is it Marvin who gets his head blown off in the back of that?
Yeah.
I just shot Marvin's head. Not Marvin. Maybe it was Marvin.
I don't remember.
So this was before Pulp Fiction.
Right.
So this is what introduced the world, at this point, to Quentin Tarantino. And like I said, I saw it in 1992. What is that dog doing back there? Is he at that screen? He's walking all over the place. That's our Reservoir Dog. There he is. Yeah. So I saw it in 92. Was expecting, and you know, there's a famous scene in there, but the ear getting cut off. Obviously, everybody knows this. We're going to spoil it. 1992. And you know, I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And I walked out of there just blown away. And then it led me to Pulp Fiction, and obviously down the road with everything he's done. I've loved practically everything he's done, even his Death Proof and some of those other ones he did. But this is about you not having seen this film. So let's get your first impressions of the film, and then we can get down into some of the plot things that they did, and talk about some of that.
My first impressions. I actually liked it. And I liked the way he told the story. Like, I like that. Like, we were in the present, and then he would flash back as to how each person ended up joining the gang or got invited in and where they showed up to. I liked that. I liked the I liked the characters.
Right.
Even though some of them.
Well, they're all despicable.
They're
criminals,
despicable.
except for the one cop, and Mr. Orange.
Who's
Roth? Tim Roth.
Tim Roth.
Mr. Orange.
Oh, he's the undercover cop.
Undercover cop.
Yeah, but I don't know that he's not got, undercover cops.
Well, I'm sure there's issues there, but I mean, in this film,
right?
He's a good guy. He's the guy that gets hired to get in with these guys and figure out what's going on.
Right.
And there's that scene with his friend up on the roof about do this thing, tell this story. This is how you get in. You got to tell this great story and be, and he does a great job doing that. They rehearse that story.
Right.
This was like the introduction for everybody of Tarantino's storytelling out of order.
Right.
And that wasn't a distraction for you. You kind of...
No, I liked it. Yeah. I liked it because it enabled me to get to know each character. So I liked the way he did it. Yeah. And I liked, who's the guy who does the dance who got out of jail?
Mr. Blonde. Michael
Madsen. I really like Michael Madsen anyway, and I really liked him in this. Yeah. Even though he was a bit crazy. He was super duper loyal. Right. So I like that in a person.
Okay. Even a criminal who shot people for no reason other than they didn't set the alarm. That's what I mean. Your morals about this versus Chinatown are fascinating.
Well, but the director's kind of an okay guy, Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, kind of. This is fiction. This didn't really happen.
Yeah. So, how did you feel about the dialogue right at the beginning of the film around the diner?
That some of the dialogue is not frustrating. It's just cringy because you don't hear it anymore. They drop the N-word a lot. I don't like that. I've never been a fan of that, but now, it's even more taboo.
Yeah.
And then the talk of the women, the women, the waitress, but also they talked about like Madonna.
Yeah,
was
like
it Madonna who had too many, like all these lovers or something?
No. He was explaining that like a virgin's about a woman who had sex that was so unbelievable. It's like being a virgin again.
Yeah.
That was his whole. And again, that's the first time we're hearing Tarantino in a film, right? Mm-hmm. His whole dialogue, his whole thing was the first time we're introduced to Quentin Tarantino, the writer-director. He's also in the film. He's Mr. Brown in the film. So that's our first intro, and it's that scene goes on for I think like 8 minutes. It does. It goes on a long time.
It's a long one,
and it's a good introduction to everybody's personality,
right?
Which is fascinating, right? You're getting an idea, and including Steve with Mr. Pink, his whole tipping thing, right? So it sets up, everybody's personality right away, right from the get go, and it's a well written scene.
Right, and I remember asking you why Sean Penn's brother wasn't dressed like everybody else, and that's when you explained that he was the son. He wasn't actually he wasn't going to be part of that heist or whatever.
Well, he's the boss's son.
The boss's son, yeah.
And that's why he was dressed in his sweatpants. Or
he was dressed in one of those '90s jogging suits, Adidas.
The other thing is this the Tarantino sensibilities as a director, as a writer. All are in this film, right down to the dialogue, right down to the cross-cutting of scenes, time cross-cutting, and then right down to the music, right.
The soundtrack was great.
What do you think, Stephen Wright and that whole Billy Bob, or whatever it was, the sound of the '70s? Mm-hmm. I mean,
the DJ, that was running in the background. Yeah. I liked it. I mean, I liked the soundtrack.
They referenced it throughout the whole film.
Yes,
including the torture scene.
Right.
He turns that radio
really high.
Steelers Wheel, I think that's what is stuck in the middle with you. Nobody can listen to that anymore without thinking of Mr. Blonde doing that crazy dance, which he made up on the spot. And there's a lot of things going on in that scene. Mm-hmm. Who was your favorite character?
He was Mr. Blonde. Was my
favorite.
You
liked Mr. Blonde. Just because why?
Because he's a character. You know what? I'm never in my real life ever going to meat a Mr. Well, maybe I have met a Mr. Blonde, but I'm never going to have any interactions.
Right.
I'm not going to have an interaction with Mr. Blonde. I might have might have had some interactions with some other kinds of people like that. And I just found I like over the top. I liked it. He's not my friend. I'm not going to go hang out with him. But for a movie character, I liked him.
Yeah. And he was evil.
He was evil, but believable evil. He wasn't, he wasn't a caricature of it.
You like his loyalty. His loyalty.
And I do. I admire loyalty. I don't like disloyal people.
Right. I have to admit, for me, it was Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel's great because he's also very loyal.
I got to admit, Steve Buscemi. I don't know how to say his name. I'm terrible at this. the whole thing about, hey, we're professionals here. Like he was the one that was sensible through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fascinating thing to watch because he's the one that ends up, he gets caught at the end, but he ends up with he runs out when everybody's getting shot, that 3 triangular shooting thing. He's the one that walks out, and he's been a professional through the whole thing. He was flabbergasted that Larry would give his name to Mr. Orange, and but for okay, I changed my mind. It was Buscemi. I just felt like he was the most consistent. I just thought he was great, and this whole anti-tipping shtick. I know you hated it, I think, because of the waitress and the female end of it, but it's as a character trait, it was very funny. Interesting.
No,
right?
it was interesting, and like I said when they were talking about it, although the other men were defending the waitress, like you've got to give her a tip. This is hard work. Like they were against his point. Nobody made the point that tipped employees make less money. Minimum wage for a tipped employee is less than minimum wage for a McDonald's worker. Right. So that comparison is faulty. And those men knew that because half of them, that's where they're running their money through restaurants and bars.
Right. Okay. Okay. That's one way to look at that. I just thought it was a good character trait for him to be a stingy bastard. So... what else? I just don't know how to get in here. Like, you're so matter of fact about just, like, I never expected you to love Mr. Blonde, honestly. That's to me, that's a shocker that you would love that guy.
Well, maybe it's because it's like nothing I would ever do or be. Like, he's completely, other than the loyalty factor, because I'm loyal to a fault.
Right.
I would never, ever harm anyone or anything. So to me, I just like, this is so cool. Like, how does he do all that?
Oh, cool. Because he's about to torture. He takes a razor blade and cuts a guy's ear off.
Because I remember going, is that an ear?
Yeah, it's an ear. He's talking into it, right? That was great. And second of all, he was ready to burn him. He was ready to light him on fire.
Yeah, he was.
But he was loyal, right?
But it's a character. It's a movie. It wasn't really going to do any of that.
These are all movies. I
know.
Hey, Chinatown's just a movie.
That's a totally different issue because that's about the director. I will not give money. I will not participate in someone who's done what he's done. I can't. And not look myself in the mirror.
Right.
It's a totally different thing. Mr. Blonde is a character. He's not real. He didn't really cut someone's ear off.
I hope not.
I don't think so. Mattson doesn't seem the type.
Oh, really? To me, he seems the type. I don't know what you're talking about. He definitely seems the type. All right, so 92, this came out in 92. Pulp Fiction came out in 94. Did you see Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
You did?
Mm-hmm. And in the theaters.
And you enjoyed that one?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Which one did you like better, Pulp Fiction or this one?
I think I might have liked Pulp Fiction just a touch better, just because I liked the variety. You had the boxer, you had you had a little bit more variety. This was, these men. It was very well. I liked this because I got to know each character, why they were there, how they got drawn in. I liked that, but I think with Pulp Fiction, I just liked the different settings in the
And Harvey Keitel was in that one as well. Tim Roth was in.
Was he?
Okay. Tim Roth was the guy at the beginning who robs the diner with Pookie, a bunny, Honey Bunny, right? Everybody freeze. Honey Bunny.
In Pulp Fiction?
In Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
Tim
okay.
Roth. Harvey Keitel played Mr. I forget his name. I don't know why I forget it. The guy who comes in and cleans up the mess.
Okay.
So, and Harvey Keitel produced this one.
Yeah, he was executive producer on it or something.
So,
yeah.
I think that's kind of why I liked him. Although I said Buscemi, I mean, I liked Larry as well. I just thought he was cool.
Well, Harvey Keitel, I liked him too because he had heart. Like he was Buscemi was like, no, these are the rules and we follow the rules for a reason. And you've screwed up all the rules. And so that's causing everything to get screwed up. And Buscemi was 100% correct. But Keitel's like, oh my God, the guy got shot. He got
shot because of him.
Right, because of him. Yeah. And, he had heart. Well, I had to tell him something because, so I could see where you like Harvey Keitel because he had more heart.
Yeah. What was great about watching this with you, it's like it's watching with anybody who hasn't seen it, is when you realized that Tim Roth was the undercover guy. Because they do that
Right.
time jump, so you're not sure
Right.
who it is. And I just remember you had this like,
Yeah.
it's him.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was super cool. So what did you didn't suspect him at all through that?
Buscemi had really good points. When Buscemi was pointing him out before you knew his backstory,
Yeah.
I was like, Buscemi's got some good points, but he shot. But he,
Yeah.
but he got shot. And I wasn't quite sure why he got shot. I wasn't sure if it was him. I was thinking it could have been Buscemi. During all that, because I was
Right.
like, he who protests too
Right,
much,
right.
kind of thing.
Well, that's what I mean. No, but you didn't know.
Right.
And then when that reveal happened, I just looked over at you and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's him.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing that reaction with somebody who hadn't seen the film before.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun because I remember it's like when I saw it, I was like, holy cow, that's crazy.
Right.
And then all that fills in later when you realize that he watches Harvey Keitel shoot the cops.
Yeah.
That scene where he unloads in the
Right.
cops. And then he shoots the woman.
Right.
Because he had to. I mean, she shot at him.
Right.
Who's a civilian.
Right.
And you realize that it's the scene where Mr. Blonde's about to torch him.
Yeah.
When Mr. Orange shoots Mr. Blonde, that you went, oh,
Yeah.
he's the cop.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that reaction from you, and when that happened. And
No, I would have known before that.
I don't think you would have.
Because they did
That's
the backstory. He'd
right.
already met with the African American guy, hadn't he?
I don't think until
okay.
he shoots him.
Oh, and then they tell the backstory. Okay.
Then they tell the backstory. But until that
I
point,
do remember it was a surprise.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But I just love seeing you like
Yeah.
that reaction on your face. What else? Anything else about the film that from a viewer who hadn't seen it?
one of
that
the
you would
things I
want?
found confusing, because I knew it made a point, but I didn't get the point, is when the undercover cop is going out to join everybody to do the job, he quickly runs back in and grabs a wedding band and puts it on.
Did he put it on or take it off?
He put it on because remember he dumped out the
right, he did
jar
do
and
that.
he looked through and he put it on, and I was like, wow, did he have a wedding band on before? And then I started thinking, I don't think any of them did. Like I don't think any of them were married,
Yeah.
which actually makes sense. Like it's easier for the mob boss if nobody's married. Like if there's no
You don't
real
want any attachments.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting direction.
Right, they
for actor.
purposely
I don't know what he
made
did
him
because
come back and
he
do it,
rings
yeah.
around, he comes back,
Yeah,
he
and
dumps out that change, and the ring's right there, and he puts it on.
Right.
Like what? Yeah, you're right. What is the purpose of that? Why would he need to put the wedding ring on when none of them have it and they're all talking? I don't. Yeah.
Right. I kept wondering, I kept waiting for, because there's no women in the film. So that's the other thing. There's no women other than
they
the
talk
waitress.
about women, but that's about it.
Yeah, but there's, and
We
then
wouldn't see
one
the
woman
waitress.
gets
We
shot.
don't see the waitress. We never see that waitress.
We don't. Well, the one woman gets shot.
Yes, that's the one woman we see.
Women are peripheral. They're spoken about. So I thought that when he put the wedding band, I was like, oh, we're going to see a wife. There's a wife going to come out of here somewhere. And, it didn't happen.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't. It's funny that one. When I saw it again, that's when I'm going, okay, that's an interesting choice he's making to put that wedding ring on. But,
Right.
I mean, it's like a minor point.
It was a minor point, but that kind of got me like, oh, maybe there'll be a woman here because there had been no women in the film
I
altogether.
love the callousness of the whole idea that when what's his name, the Chris Penn's Bob Jr. I forget what
I think they
call
just
him.
call him
I
Junior,
forget-
don't
no,
they?
I should
I don't know,
I mean,
but-
oh my God. When he comes in and he just shoots the cop after he said he was going to burn him up, and
Right.
and that starts the whole. Okay, we got to figure out who it is, and yeah, I don't know. This movie is, to me, it's a 5 out of 5. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of interested in what you would rate this one.
I actually would rate this pretty high. I would rate this at a 4.
Okay.
I guess I really did enjoy the way the story was told because it made me want to keep finding out.
Right.
So okay, so now that's why that's what happened to Mr. Blonde, and the whole, he was in jail, he learning all about him and then learning all about each character and their background as everything's while the story's unfolding. I liked that.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty masterful. And I liked the dialogue. Like the scene.
writing?
It's
The writing?
Yeah, it was very real. Like it's whether we use that verbiage anymore or not. The reality is that's the way people talk when they're sitting around the table at a Waffle House having breakfast.
Well, I don't know if they.
A group of guys,
maybe
just like a group
of criminals.
a
group of criminals. Okay, maybe they would talk like that. I don't know if I would ever.
You wouldn't talk about Madonna's new video?
Probably
during the 90s?
I
Like
don't
you
think
might
so.
have.
I don't think so. I would. Maybe. Maybe.
Because to me, they weren't talking criminal things. Like
No,
we knew
they were not.
were criminals.
That's the other thing about his movies, is that he puts his characters in play like criminals, just regular people. The whole thing with Pulp Fiction is those two guys having the conversation before they pull the hit.
Right.
Travolta and Samuel Jackson has nothing to do with criminal stuff. It's just two guys talking about Royales with cheese in Amsterdam and stuff like that. I mean, that's Tarantino, and that's what's that's why his films are so great.
Right, and that's what I liked. I liked the dialogue. I liked the way they sat around the table and they chatted. Like a group of men hanging out would talk about, and even the other scenes where they were the things they talked about, like when Harvey Keitel's like, "What am I supposed to do? The guy's dying and everything's coming out. I'm going to tell him my name."
Yeah,
He
didn't have to tell him his name. He figured out he's from Milwaukee because of the bets. He's having that conversation with the other undercover cop, the cop who taught him the story. And by the way, that guy was great.
That guy was good.
I don't see him in much more anymore, but he was really that was an interesting scene, and I just love the way they both played that. But yeah, I mean, Harvey Keitel giving away too much information with giving hardly any information, and Buscemi was all over him for that.
Right.
So, all right. So again, you said 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And anything else? What on your list of? Do you have a favorite Tarantino film? Is there one that?
Well, no, because I don't know. Like I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, just because I like that whole time frame in American history I like, so that I really liked that. But I don't really I don't know. I don't do that.
You don't do what? You don't rate his movies?
I don't think of them in those terms.
Okay.
Like it's just it's a movie. I don't
always say
I
that.
know, but it's like
I know, but I mean, you have a favorite? Is there a favorite? You liked Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, I like Pulp Fiction.
Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
Did you see Inglourious Bastards?
Mm-hmm. When we were dating, I watched it because you said it was your favorite. So I wanted to get to know you.
Aren't you sweet? That is my favorite.
I know, you told me that, so I watched it. Tarantino. And I liked it. I did. I enjoyed that one too.
Yeah.
And I liked when he throws the ending on its head. Like when the ending.
Well, when he changes history.
Right, he changes history, yeah.
He's done that a lot.
Right.
And I like it. I mean, I loved, and I've rewatched Django Unchained, which wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one.
I really appreciate that one more now. Christopher Waltz is great in that one as well. All right, so 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. That's a 9 divided by that's 4.5.
4.5. Yep.
4.5.
Mm-hmm.
4.5.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's spin for another one, and hopefully it's one that we can watch. I don't know. So let's see what we got here. Let me see. Stand by. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do we got?
Here it comes. Oh. I think it's a good one. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
Won an Oscar for this film.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so this was after Jaws.
After Jaws.
Yeah.
Close Encounters, after Close Encounters?
I want to say this. I don't know. Let's check that. Let's check out Mr. Dreyfuss's filmography.
He's become a little controversial lately, but
yeah, you know what? I don't know what's going on in the world. It's just getting, it's bad. And I love this guy. I have an autograph. My favorite movie he ever did for me is the one called Let It Ride, which he's autographed my the Laserdisc. Chris, my friend Uncle Al. I said Uncle Al actually had to stand in line for an hour to get this guy's autograph on one of my Laserdiscs, and he did it for me, and I'll never forget him for that. So
that's very nice of him.
It is very nice.
Who's the woman in this? The female.
Okay. I'll tell you in a second. Goodbye Girl. So Goodbye Girl came out in 1977. So I think it's the same year as Close Encounters. Marcia Mason.
Okay.
The wife of Neil. Who wrote this? Neil Simon wrote this.
Yeah.
Did he deserve the Oscar? I'm not 100% sure, but it's a fun film. I think you'll like him in it.
Okay.
I hope you do.
What's it about?
It's about an actor who sublets an apartment from Marsha Mason, or they're supposed to. They both sublet the same apartment.
Oh, okay.
By accident, someone rents it to them both, so they have to
Right.
come up for a deal, and it's a rom-com, so you know
Okay.
where it goes.
Okay.
All right, so I think that's a safe one for
Yeah,
you.
Neil
Let's see
Simon's
who directed.
okay.
Let's see who directed that one. I'll have to look that person up to see if we can actually watch this film. Let's see, Goodbye Girl, directed by. Oh, you know what? I looked up Richard Dreyfuss instead of Goodbye Girl. I remember seeing this in '77. I loved it, but again, I'm all into
77. That would put me in like 9th grade.
Okay, Herbert Ross directed it, so he did a lot of these kind of films. So, all right. So next one we do, but we're gonna do one next week. We're gonna do a Christmas or a
that's
holiday
right, a
special.
holiday special.
We're gonna again talk about Love Actually, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how many fat jokes they made in that film and how despicable most of those people are in that film.
Actually,
a film I adore. What were you gonna say?
I was reading and like I was looking up about Love Actually, and it's a drinking game. Every time they make a fat joke, you're supposed to take a drink.
I mean, there's a lot of them. You'll get hammered in that one. It's unbelievable how many, and the people are just despicable in this film. Even the people who you're supposed to feel sound like who plays the wife that gets cheated on? You were
Emma
talking about
Thompson?
her, Emma Thompson. Even she has some moments of when Liam Neeson's crying about his wife. Oh, don't be a sissy. Your wife just died 2 days ago.
But that's
Get over
British.
it.
I was trying to
Is
tell
that
you
British humor?
that is British humor.
Well, then they're
Yes.
crass. Okay,
They
that's
are.
crass.
They are, and some people get really offended sometimes.
So, all right. Well, in any case,
Okay.
next week we're doing Love Actually,
Yes,
and then
we
after
are.
that we'll do The Goodbye Girl.
Okay.
At some point, because we may do another holiday film. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a free for all. All right. Thanks I'm glad you liked this one. I love
did.
seeing your reaction when Mr. Orange got discovered, and I had fun.
Good. I enjoyed the movie.
And
So
cheers.
thank you. Cheers.
Forget it.